I was finally able, after being so low, to give myself credit for truly where was I? I had owned 3 homes. In my own view, if I was looking at somebody else, I was like, "You have been successful. You can get there again. You have something going on that's good." I'm so down on myself. You've gotta have something good in there, or you wouldn't have these 3 amazing kids and 2 beautiful grandchildren and this home and these friends that adore you. But they adore me, and I was so down on myself, so, I I'm not I'm not all cocky now. I'm not, "You're the best," but I have enough confidence that I know that I'm good at what I do, and I'm glad that I can share that with people.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Art of Mortgage Marketing podcast. Today, we have a very special guest that will be sharing an epic story, a story that is not only a true story, but a story that will inspire you. And when you listen to what happens and how it transforms the trajectory of your life, you'll know that that not only is this something that is possible for her, but it's also possible for you. Because today we're going to be talking about how Christine Davis 8x'd her income in just 12 months without cold calling, begging, bribing, or kissing butts. 8x. Imagine for a moment your income 8xing. What is that number for you? How would that change your life? What difference would that make in your life? Well, today we're going to share with you what that looks like with a real testimony. Christine Davis has accomplished that remarkable feat. She's 8x'd her income in just 12 months. And today we're going to peel back the curtain and share her epic story. So Christine, so blessed and grateful to have you here and excited to have you share your story.
Thank you, Doran. Great to be here. I'm honored to be here. Never thought I'd be in this position, but thankful and just I'm looking forward to letting others know that indeed, if I can do this, anybody can. And it takes work, but it happens. It really does. Yep. Can't wait.
Yeah, so let's talk about it, because before we even get into the finer details, we have documented the epic transformation, right? 12 months and you've 8x'd your income in 12 months. Is that really true?
It really is. Yes, I started June 1st of 25, and here we are on May 15th. And yes, it's
Amazing.
happened. Yeah.
Amazing. So let's start with where you were. What did your business actually look like before everything changed for you? Why don't we start there?
All right. Well, I started my career in banking as a teller at Wells Fargo. Then I moved to Chase and I became a banker. Then I became the banker at Chase that was doing all the mortgage referrals after a few years and just had a knack for seeing people that might be interested in mortgage. Well, the mortgage person at Chase came and said, "You know how much money you could make if you were the mortgage person instead of just referring to the mortgage person?" I had no idea. And so he showed me a path and I jumped on it and eventually needed to leave a bank because as much as money as he thought I could make, I had no idea how much I could make if I didn't do it in the bank. But anyway, that's where I went and that's how I started. So last June, 17 and a half years into a career where I had great years. I had great COVID years, like most of us, but I would be a $50 million a year producer. And then gradually things got worse and worse. Life changes, a divorce, horrible family split up after 20 years together. It was just a lot had happened, health challenges, major health challenges with my older son who has some challenges anyway. And I'm going to call it pretty much dead in the water, didn't know where to go, didn't know what to do. I couldn't seem to get my business going. I had borrowed all the money out of my home equity line, didn't know where I was going to go for my next checks, had called PG&E, had tried to get on with Amazon, trying to get an at-home job. Anyway, I know I'm giving you a lot right now, but I'm just letting you know I had gone from making 350 to 400,000 a year down to making 25,000 a year. Had to sell 2 houses, was looking at, hadn't missed a payment, but was looking at, okay, my great record with my credit score is going to get hurt here. What am I going to do? And I got a call, Doran. I got a call from somebody that offered me an interview with you. And I have been in coaching programs before. in the United States. I'd done the core. I'd worked in California and done all kinds of marketing programs. Was really good at them for a few months, but just never found that link to really keep it going for whatever reason. But am I glad I interviewed with you? So that's where I was, and can't wait to share more about where I am. I was hopeless. I didn't know what I was going to do.
Wow. Talk about a dark night of the soul. I mean, not only a massive financial haircut, major regression financially from $300,000, $400,000 plus a year to 25, 28. I think last I heard when we talked outside of the recording, you made like $28,000 last year. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, talk about a kick to the ovaries and then some. I mean, that's a
Yes.
major financial haircut. And you have dependents. And on top of that, dependents that have, medical conditions, and Lord knows it's not expensive dealing with all that. And then on top of that, of course, the divorce and the kick to the soul that, anyone who goes through that knows better than most how painful that is. So you certainly have been tested by fire. You've gone through the fiery furnace and then some. And the problem was you were trying all these different things and it wasn't working, and you're going further and further backwards. You're chewing up your savings. You're jacking up the line of credit. You could see the tarmac getting shorter and shorter, where if you don't do something drastic, you're going to have to do something drastic. So that's where you were literally 12 months ago. It's crazy to think it was only 12 months ago. That's where you
Right.
were.
Yeah.
What was the most frustrating, stressful part about all this for you? When just going back there, putting your feet back into those shoes 12 months ago, I know it's a world of difference than where you are now, but I'm sure you can fully associate to where you were back then because it was you and it wasn't very long ago. What was the most stressful, fearful, frustrating part of your journey day to day at that stage in the game?
I was down to, in my savings account, having about $6,000 left. And with a $2,000 a month house payment, I did not know what I was going to do in 90 days. And my biggest not social, but heart frustration was I had my son, but Doran, I'll try not to tear up here, but I'm also an amazing grandma, and I have two grandkids. And it had been 3 years since I was able to travel just from California to Arizona to see my grandkids in person. And our relationship had to come down to Zoom calls, which I'm thankful for. I'm very blessed. I am. I have a home. I have all kinds of things, but I was so desperate. And I hadn't seen my little 5-year-old grandson since he was 2 years old, and it was breaking my heart. I didn't know how I was going to go see my family. And it's really hard. And everybody was struggling. I wanted to help my realtors. They're struggling. They didn't have anything we didn't have open houses. We didn't have anything. So everybody knows how the economy was going. And I wasn't the only desperate person. I didn't know where to turn next. And as the only income, I didn't know what to do with myself. I was beside myself. This is the career I love. I didn't want to leave it. Well, what else was I going to go do besides help people down this glorious path to finding a home and the happiness it brings? And I didn't know what to do. I really didn't. Spiritually, I had let go of all. Raised very, very. I was raised in Utah. If you know what that means, very,
Right.
very religious background, and I was completely lost in most areas of my life. And so I needed guidance, but most of all, I needed just a ray of hope. I needed one little nugget I could hang on to. And then I met you.
There are no accidents, sister. There are no accidents.
No, yeah. So
And it's interesting your answer to my question because, you could have said, I was fearful about having to go back to some salary position, losing my freedom, my autonomy, and my independence, my upside potential, all of the income potential that comes with 100% commission gone, punching a clock, working for someone else. You could have said just the humiliation and embarrassment after 17 years of having to stick your tail between your legs and admit defeat and failure after you'd been a top producer in the industry for many years. You could have said just the fact that you're not able to provide for your family, for your son, and all the failure of not providing, the pain that comes with that, especially being the strong mama bear that you are. But what's interesting is it really hit the heart of your relational desire to be with your grandkids.
yeah.
And being that grandma who just wants to, have those magic moments with your grandkids and to be able to just buy a flight and just go see them anytime you want. And you had that kind of freedom not too many years ago. But of course, the income dried up and you hadn't seen them for 3 years. So it's interesting how when the proverbial poop hits the fan, we find out what really matters, and it's
Yes.
relationships, right?
Hmm.
It's those that we
For
care about
sure.
most. That's what we fight for most. And you mentioned your Utah background, and of course, there's so many different spiritual paths and religious paths out there. But at the end of the day, it comes down to our relationship with God, and uh, whether that is something that fosters faith or fosters fear, whether it's something that brings us hope or brings us another hamster wheel where we're fighting to be accepted, to be enough. So it's interesting that you came into this coaching program to fight for your business, but you ended up finding something much deeper. Your relationship with your family, your relationship with God, and of course, a whole lot more zeros and commas in your bank account,
Yeah, yeah.
and a lot more freedom. So that's beautiful. You're about to say something?
Well, I just know it's true. I've always had a positive attitude and felt grateful for a lot, but I was starting to get kind of on the pity potty, and I didn't like that about myself. I was starting to be so discouraged. I couldn't really see the bright side in any day. I faked it well. I have, I'm supposed to be the tone for the home, but it was starting to get really worrisome. I'm not somebody that likes to admit that I'm struggling, so I had a hard time telling friends how hard it was. But there I was, and then I don't I don't know what it was. Well, I know it was partly your personality, but there we had our interview, and we really hit it off. And I was like, I've got to try one more thing. And I had a credit card that I just wasn't going to use, and I said, I'm doing it. I didn't have any money, but I put it on the credit card, and during a year later, here I am, and I've paid that credit card off, and it was interest free for the first 6 months anyway. But I took a leap of faith, and everything that we went through in the program, I don't know how much we'll get into it, but the program has so much more than just call like this and say this. And it just it helped me find so many things about how I was raised, the way I handle stress. I can't even tell you the whole myriad. I grew in so many areas, and it helped me so much. I was able to rely not just on myself, but other people, and back on God again, and bring Him in. And I was able to see myself in a whole new light, that I really was more capable and more worthy than I ever thought I was, and that if I would put in my part, I would get met. And I didn't even always go halfway, and I was still met. And I struggled for the first few months of the program, going, man, I had these great plans. I was always, the straight A student, the piano player. Everybody wanted me because I was so good at everything. And I went, man, I thought I was going to be through this program in 60 days. What am I doing? Why am I not? And I had some stuff to work on and to get through.
Yeah.
And that was June. And then in December, 6 months later, all of a sudden, everything broke loose. December was a great month. And ever since, here I am. And when I finish the first quarter of 2026, we'll talk about it. And now it's unbelievable. I hope to, at the end, be able to share just a short story about the last 2 weeks before we've done this interview, and
Oh yeah, I'm not done with you.
how they happened behind me while I wasn't even looking. I had no idea I'd be in that place again within a year.
Oh,
So excited.
believe you me, Christine, believe you me. I'm not done with you yet. We still got
Okay.
lots to
All
squeeze out
right.
of the fruit here. But yeah, you're sharing the beautiful blossoming that has transpired, and it hasn't been a straight line. It's been
Right.
some challenges. It's been a faith walk. It's been building muscle, building momentum. It's been uh, you know some toil for sure when it comes to putting in the discipline, putting in the effort in those unseen hours when no one else is listening, no one else is watching. It's just you and God and your defiant resolve to do the work. And it was a bit like you were the bamboo. Bamboos, if you plant them, they don't grow. They're pretty much runt plants for a long time, for years. And then all of a sudden, 3 years down the line, it grows 90 centimeters in one day.
Oh, I didn't
I
know
don't know
that.
how many
Wow.
that I don't know how many inches that is, but it's a lot of inches in one day. So you had that, experience of being like the bamboo, where it's like you really had to grow those roots under the ground. No one else was seeing the growth. You didn't even necessarily see the growth, but look
I
at you
didn't.
now. It's been transformative to say the least. So let's talk a little bit more about your bamboo experience. Let's start before you even launched onto Planet Prosper. A typical day for you, being stuck, no answers, trying different things, it wasn't working.
Okay.
Uh, where specifically were you stuck when it comes to, actually getting answers? And what were you secretly most worried about, most fearful about in terms of, the stuff that really kept you up at night?
Well, I partly because of the market, right? The market had tanked. People weren't buying like they used to. Rates had gone higher. I was a loan officer that just was so worried about rate, and so many people talked about that. I spent a lot of time talking to realtors and to clients about what's going to happen and who can help me find the answer. And I was trying to help them find answers on all of that. So I say that partly because part of the deal with the program is I've learned that I'm much more than a rate quoter. I always knew there was much more to buying homes than just the rate, but that was the fear people had. And I was so fear focused. I only had that one fear. I was afraid, what are they going to ask me next? And my realtor partners who I was doing open houses with every weekend, and it was such a good flow for me. There weren't open houses happening. And where we used to have 100 people at an open house, we were doing them over and over again. And there was nobody coming to the open house except the nosy, snoopy neighbor. I'm not saying that the nosy neighbor isn't a good one. That might be a listing later down the road, but the open houses weren't coming true like we thought they would. Realtors were discouraged. They were having a hard time finding leads. And then a word you used when I saw your program was a mortgage leech. And I didn't mean to be one, but yeah, I was going, everybody says, put up their signs, help them with their snacks. They'll give you a referral. No, they didn't. I was buying tons of water and cookies, and I didn't mind helping, but I was doing lots of hanging out at open houses and still not getting a lot of business. So I'm grateful for the relationships. I never wanted to sound that way, but I was putting my focus in the wrong places. I didn't really know how to have a relationship with a realtor because I had never been in a position where I knew how to present myself. And so I've learned so much. My confidence has grown. And over the last 9 months, I've become a much better loan officer. I knew how to ask the right questions, even within my own company, to learn more products, to help more people figure out how to get into mortgages. I've learned much more than just how to um, how to talk to a realtor or about a client and forget the rate. Everybody says marry the mortgage and date the rate, and there's all these things you can say, but um, I'm much more of a consultant and I help people. I don't go ask realtors um, for leads anymore. I don't ask them for their people. I help them build their business now, and I'm perfectly competent to do it and to help them get over some of the hurdles they have. I'm not saying I'm you. I'm saying I've learned so much that I can help them have a conversation. And I'm building so much deeper relationships with people now. And the realtors I had before have noticed the difference in me. And they liked me before, but they're like, wow, the things you're saying and the things I'm working on now, and it's a much better synergy that I have even with the realtors that I had before. It's a deeper relationship, a different kind of relationship. I look at mortgage lending different than I did the first 17 and a half years. I do. And I feel like I'm better at everything that I do now.
It's amazing how all that growth that we want to produce and manifest in our life without, it all starts with growth within. And
It
you're
does.
certainly a prime
Yes.
example of that. All breakthroughs happen within before they happen without. And
Hmm.
you're a perfect case in point. So you tried a bunch of things, right? You tried cold
Yeah.
calling realtors, every Monday, all that kind of stuff. You tried to
Yes.
show up to open houses uninvited, just trying to
I
see
was
if you could
going to
start
the
some
broker
conversations.
meetings where it's
Yeah.
mostly loan officers and title people that are there trying to meet all the realtors. I was trying to walk into an open house, annoying that. How annoying is that? The realtor comes with their own lender, and I show up and say, "Hi, I'm a lender." And they're like, I wouldn't like that if I was a lender. So, but it was what I was told to go try. So I tried it. I was trying everything. I was trying to build my social media. You can tell by my picture and my Zoom screen, I'm not great at social media. And
And you still 8x your income in 12 months. That should give a lot of techno tards a hope that you don't have to be a techno savvy propeller head to 8x your income in 12 months.
I had
Even
hired
Christine can
somebody
do
for
it,
$900 a month to put things on my Instagram. I didn't get one lead out of that. Not
right?
one lead. I just and I'm not saying people can't, but that wasn't my thing. That wasn't my thing. But anyway, I did find my thing. And I'm so happy. I'm infinitely happy. And at 63 years old, which is what I am now, I'm not looking at retiring in the next 10 years now. I couldn't wait for retirement because I'm like, at least I'd have a check coming in.
Right.
Right? How little that check is, I'll have a check coming in. And now here I am, all excited again, pretty much as excited as I've ever been to do this. And I can't wait to keep growing. And the market has not improved. It has not. But here we
Yeah,
are.
you haven't been waiting for a new, better economy. You created your own new, better
Yeah.
economy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It has happened.
And interesting that there's so much of this industry that's waiting for lower rates and more inventory and more transactions. Little do they know, people keep getting into the market, moving up in the market, getting married, getting divorced, and dying. All those require transactions. They might as well have your name on them. But if you don't know how to position yourself with the people who are actually doing the lion's share of the transactions, namely the elite realtors, then all those deals are just going to keep flying over your head. And that's what you're experiencing. That's why your
Yes.
income tanked from $300,000-$400,000 plus to 28K last year.
Yeah.
The market went down the toilet and you went with it, and
I
your
did.
mindset and
Yeah.
your emotional state went with it. So yeah, there you were 12 months ago, living in this muck and mire every day, no hope. You tried so many different things. They weren't working. And did you get to a place, and tell me if this isn't the case, then by all means, I don't want to ram this idea down your throat. So correct me if I'm wrong, but did you get to a place where you're like, maybe I'm just not cracked up for this industry anymore. Maybe I just need to move on. Maybe I just need to, move on to some other career or do something else. Did that cross your mind at all?
Absolutely. Yep. I had applications in all over the place trying to look for an at-home job because I need to be here with my boy. I was looking for anything online that I could do. And luckily, none of those came in because how would I have squeezed in working full time, something remotely, and still trying to do the mortgage lending? It just, I found ways and just little bits started to come to keep me going. And then it just all of a sudden started to take off. I started to get my good partners. I was reaching out to realtors that I thought I would never even be brave enough to talk to, some top producers closing 20 deals a year. And I went, wow. And I blew it a couple of times. I was like, I got to have that exact word Doran told me to say. You just got to do it. You got to do it. And pretty soon you're just doing it and you know what to say and you don't worry about it as much, but you've got to do it again and again. You've got to let go of the fear. And this was a program that no matter how many other programs I'd paid for and tried, this one stuck. It did. And I studied and studied. I put your training programs on my phone, listened to them when I was driving to different things. And and I joke that, man, there's so many Doranisms that I've learned. If I had a coffee cup for everyone, I could open up a coffee cup, good little boutique store. So many of them. And I've been able to make that program my repertoire. And I told you, I'll refer back to this because I've done that a few times as I've looked back. I'm a concert pianist. And I did a concert when I was 17 years old and for tons of people, and it took me years to be that good. And here I am. I took lessons for 17 years, and here I am, 17 years of doing mortgages, and I finally became the pro that can kind of put on the concert. And I had to let go of so many things and bad habits. And that's not the way you do it, Trill, Christine. That's not the way you do the scale. That's not the way you do it. You've got to make it your own. You've got to find your way that you're comfortable with. And as long as people are comfortable with you and they feel like they're going to be benefiting whenever they talk to you, I mean, that's what you taught me, Doran. I've got to bring something of value to them. I have to bring them value. And value isn't just a lead that I might have. Value is a way that I can help them, like your program has helped me. And I'm building some really awesome relationships through that. And the other key is my I've been very blessed because my confidence rose to the point where I was offered an in-house position with an office that has 130 agents in it. And yes, they all have their preferred lenders too, but I have the opportunity of being with that group, not just showing up to the realtor meeting at the restaurant down the street and listening to some mortgage minute from another lender. I am there in front of them, able to answer their questions and help them figure some things out. And that's part of where I'm really building a lot. And it's just been amazing. I meet with them on their Monday meetings and I meet with them on their Friday meetings. And we have a whole pipeline call now of all the leads they've given to me. And I'm accountable to them. And I say, this is when I contacted the client. This is what they're working on, whether it's credit, finding a house, who's coming on and off the loan. And my accountability to them and showing them what's going on with their leads it's been awesome. Most of them going, wow, I give leads to other people. And unless I go ask them what happened to that guy 2 years ago, they don't even know, they don't remember I gave them the lead. So I've learned so much that that's what I'm providing for people. I had to hire somebody to help me keep track of all that now. I'm now paying other people to work for me when a year ago I couldn't get a paycheck for myself. And here I
That's
am.
what we call first world problems, right? Paying more
Uh-huh. Yeah.
taxes and having more assistants and building
Yep.
a dream team around you.
Yeah.
That's what I call first world problems. Those are the kind of problems we want, more of those,
Yes, for
right?
sure.
So I
Yes.
still think, by the way, we need to do that coffee shop with those mugs and maybe have some Dornism books. I think I think we can have a good business plan right there.
I think we
I think
could.
at
Yeah.
least one person, my mom will fly down and patronize the shop. So I think we're onto something.
Oh, that's awesome. Good, good. There's
I
some
think
good ones out there. Yeah.
yeah, we have a very viable business plan right there. Rock solid. So tell me about the decision point, because obviously you were stuck in the muck. You didn't know how to get out. The bank account was draining. You're headed towards a precipice where you're going to have to do something drastic. The seed of doubt was starting to really take root and bear fruit, and bitter fruit at that maybe you're going to have to leave this business after being in it for almost 2 decades. What finally became so painful, Christine, that you knew that you needed to change now? That, there was maybe a defining moment on the journey where you said, I can't keep tolerating this, not even one more day. I can't keep doing business like this, not even one more day. What was that defining moment for you?
I wish I remember what our first interview was, but um, I'm the type of person that gets all the information and I make a decision 3 or 4 days later, right? I always
Right.
tell myself, go to sleep on it, pray about it, and decide tomorrow. And as we were sitting there talking, and you were talking about what's it going to take for you to be able to commit to something like this, whatever it was you were saying, I don't even
It
remember
was
the
like really
exact
what's
words
at
now.
stake, right? It was,
Yeah,
by the way, Christine calls it an interview, and I suppose it is because I ask a lot of questions, but we call it a breakthrough call here on
there
Planet
you go.
Prosper.
That's what it
It's
is.
designed to
Thank
help.
you.
It's designed to bring the light of clarity to support people to not just get clarity, but get sufficient clarity to create a breakthrough in their life. And so I asked you all these questions, right? And really, the crux of the defining moment, if I'm understanding what you're pointing to there, is the point where we really get clear on what's at stake, like the
Yes,
problem, the
absolutely.
consequence of the problem now, but the consequence of the problem persisting in the future, and what's at stake. So why don't you pick up the ball where I'm
Great.
passing it to you
Thank
there?
you. And you're right. It was a discovery for me, totally. And the pointing out that you were doing, I just finally said to myself, if I was sitting there, I know myself well enough that if I hung up, I wasn't going to call you back because I would be too worried about the money. And I just had it in my heart. I just went, if it's not this, what is it? You don't have anything else to try. This has now been given to you as you're sitting here thinking, on Monday, I've got to find a job. And what else would you try? And I went, my credit's already, going to be on the brink anyway. Put that in and let's get going. And then I had that I got in the program and I had that first call with the group in the weekly calls that you do where there were other people just like me. And I went, the light came on and I just went, I am not the only person out here feeling like this. And now I have good friends in the group too, and it's really fun and it's turned into competition. I know people from all over the United States and in Canada now, and you guys gave me a lifeline. And I was alone, Doran. I was so alone, and I just went, if I don't do this, I'm not going to do anything, and I don't want to leave this business. So that I don't know if I'm clarifying that enough, but that's what it was in our talk. I had to. I was just call it divine, call it whatever. I didn't even feel like I was in touch with my higher power at that point, but whatever it was, just you better do it. You better do it is how I felt. Because I knew if
Yeah.
I hung up, I was so discouraged. I knew I wouldn't call back. I had no confidence in myself at all. And you showed a little bit of confidence in me, and that was it.
Yeah. And you knew there was a lot at stake, and you knew that
I
if you
was going
didn't
to
strike
lose my
while the iron
house.
is hot,
Yeah.
right? If you didn't
Yeah.
strike while the iron is hot, the iron's going to get cold, and later always means never,
Yeah.
right? Manana just leads to more and more mediocrity. And so you had so much at stake. The mama bear instinct got a hold of you. Like, I refuse to lose. I refuse to lose for my family. So you
Yeah.
said, screw it, let's do it. You felt the fear. You did
I
it
sure did.
anyways. And now here you are on Planet Prosper 12 months later. Obviously, it's been an avalanche of awesome since then. We're
It
about to
has.
get into more details on that. You've already been giving us some breadcrumbs on that, and it's tremendous just to see the blossoming and blooming of all that growth, not just on the inside, but on the outside for you. What made you trust me? What made you trust the program enough to say, screw it, let's do it, and take the leap and invest in yourself?
It was your responses when I was trying to come up with excuses that worked with everybody else.
Right. I wouldn't buy your BS
You
protective
didn't.
mechanisms to try and
So
keep
right.
yourself in your comfort zone, right?
But I didn't feel manipulative to me. It felt like you really were seeing, you were pointing out things in me that I was like, I don't let anybody see this. I know I didn't show him that, but you just were making some really pointed observations. And I was like, he's got my number. He isn't going to take this. And you really did. I wasn't even offended, but you really did help me realize you've got to do something. I can't lose my home. It's too important to my son. He's got to have a place. He isn't good at change. And I didn't want to be there. I didn't care about my second home. I didn't care about my third home. I sold the cabin. I can get those back someday. I can go to someone else's cabin. I can do an Airbnb, but I had to keep my home. And I've always believed, my parents taught me, keep home the one thing you can afford, because you can take a bus, you can't find a home. And so I knew that keeping the home was the most important. And when that was facing me, I was scared. So here I am, and I dived in, and enough business started coming just a little bit at a time that I was able to keep those payments going. And then the rest is history. I don't even know how to tell you the first 6 month trail, because it was up and down, and I'm like, I'm supposed to be through this module by now, and I should be better at this, but I was growing, I was changing, I had to have that growth, or I wouldn't have been as good at it. I had to go through the exercises. I had to admit a lot of things to myself. I had to Doran, I'd spent $60,000 in my lifetime in therapy trying to get over some of the things from my past and from my, you know, family and past and all
Your childhood.
relationships that I'd had, just my childhood, when we all have that baggage. And the exercises that you helped me do had the focus completely different and showed how I respond because of those things, not how I can forgive or forget, or I don't need to go back there. I hope I'm
Positive
saying this.
thinking.
There you go. Yes, I was holding myself back. I had, you call it, unlimiting beliefs, and my limiting beliefs were holding me back from believing. And when I finally got that far down, they were a major problem. And some prayer and some exercise and some just starting to do things, and some of the things that you have us do here in the program really taught me a lot about myself and a different way to look at myself. I was finally able, after being so low, to give myself credit for truly, where was I? I had owned 3 homes. In my own view, if I was looking at somebody else, I was like, "You have been successful. You can get there again. You have something going on that's good." I was so down on myself. You've gotta have something good in there, or you wouldn't have these 3 amazing kids and 2 beautiful grandchildren and this home and these friends that adore you. But they adore me, and I was so down on myself. So, um, I I'm not I'm not all cocky now. I'm not, you're the best, but I have enough confidence that I know that I'm good at what I do, and I'm glad that I can share that with people. And today, Doran, right before this call, I got a text. We're getting our keys. We're on record from a family that has struggled, that I've worked with since January, trying to get them ready for a mortgage, and they're getting their keys today. And it's happening so much again now. And I've got that joy back too, because it isn't just the money. The money's fantastic, and I'm enjoying that again. But what we do is so important, and it helps so many families, and it changes their life. It changes their life. I know how important my home is to me, and helping them find that place that they get to have be theirs. That's the joy of this whole career. That's the joy for me. So I just had that right before we started here. So thank you again.
Amazing.
Planet
Amazing.
prosper and prospering, just being blessed to have those kind of relationships with people.
I love that for you, Christine. I mean, you've been just exemplary in the program. You've been in it to win it. You've been committed. You've been coachable. Obviously, in the beginning, you had some wobble, and that's perfectly normal. You had overwhelm. That's perfectly normal. That's all a sign you're on the right track, because all growth is outside of the comfort zone, not inside,
Yeah,
but outside the comfort zone. You got comfortable being uncomfortable, as we call it, which I'm sure you, coming from being a concert pianist, you're ingrained in your nervous system and your mindset. You have to put in a lot of reps to build up that
yeah,
confidence, to build up that
yeah,
mastery, right? So that we see people, a lot of the most successful students in our program come from backgrounds like, playing an instrument at a high level, or being a professional athlete, or being a black belt in martial arts or something like that, right? Because they just get it, that you have to put in the reps to build the mastery muscle. Tell
yeah,
me about what it was like when you started out from a standing start, no momentum. Your mojo was in the toilet because you just got started, so we hadn't really done anything yet, and now you're overwhelmed. You're still broke. You're
yeah,
still, behind on the bills. Your finances are still jacked up. You just invested boldly in yourself, in faith, and now you're starting in the program, and there's all this learning curve to go through, and all this overwhelm, and all this like new skill to develop. What was the very first thing you changed that started producing results, where you were like, whoa, this actually works? Like, this is actually working. Like, this is actually going to work. What was it for you?
I had been shown so many times how to time block my schedule. I mean, I had it all color coded and everything at one point. I didn't do anything on that color coding, and it made my calendar so confusing. It was like a rainbow in different order every single day. And you talked about the hour of power. I've done hours of power before, but this time I said, Christine, come on, have you really done it? Have you really done the hour of power? And I learned how to get ready for that hour of power and how to organize it. And the biggest thing that has changed my career, Dorn, is making sure every single day I make calls. And I was hard on myself. I'm like, I didn't do 10. I didn't do 10. I was supposed to do 10. I only did 8. Oh my gosh, I only did 7. I did 3. I didn't care anymore. And now when I miss my calls, I'm like, way to go, bozo. What did you let get in front of those? Because here I am doing great, but I didn't make my calls. And my calls aren't just to people I haven't talked to before. My calls now, I've got that hour set up where if I don't know about you guys, well, yes, I do. I run out of day before I run out of tasks every single day. But I know that the next hour, the next 10 to 11 on the next day is when I'm going to put that in there, because that call that I missed is that's when I'm going to make it. And my client's going to hear from me the first 2 hours of their day, and we're going to connect again. And I don't stress about it anymore. I I used to go, God, do I send them a text now? It's 9 o'clock at night. I don't want them to think I'm available at 9 o'clock at night. And I would get this little spin going in my head. I commit that hour. I would go through, okay, Doran says it should be to 10 new whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm calling people. I'm doing more than I did the last time. When I keep track of my KPIs, people will know what that is when they're doing them. Does it only count if I'm calling a realtor that's new, or does it only count if it's a client I got from? Why are you worried about these details? Doran says get to work for an hour of power. And this isn't a quiet hour where you go take a nap and refresh yourself. This is an hour of power where you better not bug me because I'm on a roll and I'm making some calls and I'm going to get it done today because it's what's charging my battery. And when I charge my battery for that hour, and I can look back and go, I did it today. I did my hour. I called 10 people. I got a hold of one. I called 11 people and I didn't get a hold of any of them. I don't care. I did the call. And so truly that is the easiest, consistent, every single thing I do every day is I do that hour of power. And it's it's the key to all of this because there's no way you're not going to get momentum by making those calls. There's just no way it's not going to work.
It's amazing.
It works. So it does.
It works when you work it, right? It works when you work it. And you obviously took a leap of faith. You didn't know if it was going to work, but you started to do it in spite of the fact that, we were teaching you things you'd never tried before. You had to kind of risk yourself with these realtors that in the past maybe wouldn't have given you the time of day, but you felt the fear. You did it anyways. You bumbled the script, you tripped on your lips, you messed it up multiple times, but you've been so faithful and so consistent with that hour of power. You said, some days you don't do your 10-3-1. We have terminology here on Planet Prosper where we call it the 10-3-1 in your hour of power, 10 outbound calls, 3 live connections, 1 appointment. So that's kind of the breakdown. I mean, you guys, if you're mortgage originators, you're probably working 40 hours plus a week. What's 1 hour? If your job is to originate loans, what's 1 hour dedicated to actually doing what you're supposed to do, originate loans, right? But you'd be surprised how many mortgage originators don't even do 1 hour. And if they do it, they're pushing paper around their desk instead of actually doing something that matters, like connecting with realtors or connecting with past clients, asking for referrals and so on. Now, obviously, we have method to the madness that makes that 10-3-1 a lot more effective than just the average cold calling program, as I'm sure Christine will attest to.
Absolutely.
But it's amazing how that consistency compounds. You've been, you mentioned earlier that, you've met some new friends and you have some amazing relationships that have been fostered out of being in this program now for a year, fellow peers in the program, and some healthy competition with our Booking Beast Challenge, where we give rewards and recognition for points allocated to proactive prospecting. And you've been truthfully the greatest of all time, the GOAT in the program. We've been doing this for years. You are the greatest of all time. You've won 7 or 8 months in a row, which is just absolutely epic. And we've got some pretty stiff competition now, and you're still leading the field. You're using that pressure to propel you even higher. You're not sitting on your laurels. And certainly another big reason why you're an elite level pianist, because you don't shrink back from putting in the reps. You don't shrink back from doing the daily training. That consistency compounds. And now, you're becoming a concert pianist of mortgage marketing, not by getting a bunch of crappy leads off the internet, but by mastering the single most profitable skill that any mortgage originator could ever develop in their business: attracting elite realtor partners and turning their database into a wellspring of repeat referral business and rave reviews. And so, all the success you've accomplished is on the back of that consistency, which has been absolutely tremendous. So I got another question for you, and that is, what do you think most mortgage pros completely misunderstand about growing their business that you now understand 12 months later after being in Planet Prosper for 12 months?
I used to I hope I'm answering this correctly. When I used to reach out, when I was in the Corps said, call your 40 realtors every Monday, the same 40 every single week. Call them. I know that when they saw my number coming through, they're probably like, click, there she is again every Monday. I don't call the same ones every time anymore. I do use your program. I did reach out to realtors that are doing stuff. It was hard for me because I was like, they're pretty successful. Why would they want to talk to me? And in the system that you have, you do contact them and you do get to have a conversation. And it isn't any longer. I hope I work for the company that gives me enough programs I can blow them away. Realtors don't care about your programs. They know that lenders are going to get it done if they say they're going to get you a loan, and if they don't, they'll find a buddy that'll do it with them, or they'll figure it out. They care about how you're building the relationship and what you're I don't know how I've lost my train of thought here, but how you're going to be able to support them. Half of the ones that you're going to contact don't even know what they don't know. Right. So one of the things that we do is we try to show them how to contact their old leads. And they're like, oh my gosh, I gave up on those leads a long time ago. And when I'm able to point out to them that I'm going to help you contact those leads, and even if they say, well, yeah, but some of those I had with other lenders, and I'm able to say to them, not in a cocky way, but just when's the last time that other lender reached out to that person for you?
Right.
You just told me you haven't talked to him in 4 years. Has your other lender? Right. And so I'm just a new person we're presenting as a team, but there's so many things like that when I'm offering to help them, I assume in certain areas they may be at the same place discouraged that I was, and I can encourage them that there's business there waiting for you. And when they say things like, I don't even know where to go to get leads, I don't even know what to do, I am struggling, I'm struggling too. Who have you got? Who are you bringing to me? I'm not calling you to give you my leads. I'm calling you to find out if we've got enough that we can work together and help each other. And I'm going to show you by being consistent on when I call you. And if I tell you I'm going to call you and I say we're going to have an appointment and let's do it next Wednesday, you have either 11 or 1. Those are the times I do my appointments. Which one works for you? When I show up and I'm ready for them and I'm ready to provide value in that meeting, they're interested. And if they're not, I'll send a text to somebody and I've got a program I'd love to talk to you about, whatever the text is. They send me their business card and they say, sure, I'll try to throw you some. Send me a few. I do this with lots of mortgage originators. Next, you taught me something, and you know what it is. SW. And at first I was like, wow, that's kind of cold. But it's go ahead. Some will, some won't. So what? Someone's waiting. And some of the realtors will and some won't. So what? Go to the next name because there's another one there that could be. And I might go through 10 in a day. And gosh, when that happened to me in the beginning, Doran, I was like, oh my gosh, that didn't work. I contacted 10 people and they all said no. Oh, well, I called 10 more the next day. And now I have 13 VIP partners. And you know what? And most of my leads aren't coming from my 13 partners. But when I get a new partner, they're going in a different place. I have partners that are VIP partners that aren't on the top of the list anymore, but they're growing because I've got to meet them where they are. I've got to meet them where they are, and they shuffle around a little bit, but I have great relationships with them. I don't believe any of them are ignoring me when I call. They are showing up to the meetings, and if they're not, some will, some won't. So what? There's another VIP out there waiting for me.
That's right.
And when you end up in an office with 130 realtors, I'm not kidding myself and telling myself I'm going to have a relationship with all 130 of them. But if I got 4 or 5 that are sending me a couple of leads a week, okay, I'll take 10 realtors sending me 2 leads a week. I'll take that from one office.
Absolutely.
So it happens, and we all know that. We all know if we've ever been in a place as a mortgage loan originator where you're getting some leads, you can turn it into business. So I have the confidence. I've got it all. I don't care anymore if I get a no. And on a day when I only get to make 3 calls, I don't say, oh gosh, I got to do 10 tomorrow. I say, yay, let's do 15 tomorrow. Who's stopping you at 10? You're on a roll. Take 2 hours. What else did you do with the rest of your day? For years, and I will admit it now, for years, I was waiting for mortgages to come, And the only thing I did all week was one open house, and I went to the broker meeting, and I sat at home going, why isn't my phone ringing? Um, it works going out too. It doesn't just ring. I can dial it and I can try to get hold of somebody. So we got to get out of that mindset. You got to put the effort in. And you showed me how, and you showed me how to do it confidently and to bring value. And that's what this program's done for me. So here I am. Here I
So
am.
well said. I think that's really the crux of your answer to that question is shifting from being a loan leech to being a growth partner, and shifting from waiting for the phone to ring to making the phone ring by actually bringing value versus just, hoping that someone just throws you a bone or flicks some crumbs off the table.
Yeah.
And obviously that's a mindset, it's a skill set. You've been putting in reps consistently day in and day out as you've been sharing your hour of power routine with us. And that's certainly been compounding. The compounding effect of that has been absolutely tremendous. Let's talk about the transformation for a moment here, because obviously the transformation didn't happen in a day, it's happened daily. Can you quantify the change financially since you started? Last year you did $28,000, which was like maybe closing a deal every 2 to 3 months, to where you are now, where you're just popping like popcorn. You got deals coming in from all different angles, from multiple different sources on a continuous basis. Can you quantify?
Uh, I can. When I realized how much I was making, it was in March, and I realized that between January and the end of March, I was going to be pulling in during $41,000 in 90 days.
So like almost double what you made in 2025.
Yes.
Just
Yes.
in those few months.
In 25, in those first 3 months. And now just closed another one, and I'm in May, and I don't even know how to add the number up because I still have 6 more loans to close this month. That's how many
What's
loans
your
I have closing.
estimation? What's your estimation for May now?
Well, a couple of those are $1 million loans. Luckily, I live in California.
Right?
So
I know those are juicy in California.
I haven't even estimated it at this point yet, but I'm going to be, I will likely be another 62,000 in the next 90 by the end of May.
My goodness. So you've
Almost
taken
$100,000.
your quarterly income for Q1 and you've almost doubled it.
Yeah,
for May.
almost doubled it again.
So you've taken your quarterly income and you've turned it into your monthly income and then some.
Yeah.
How epic is that?
I know.
That's the hockey stick exponential curve, right?
It's unbelievable.
And you're still doing your calls. You're still doing your hour of power. And that's what's tremendous, because a lot of times mortgage pros, they get to a level of income that's comfortable and they just start to slough off and sit on their laurels and coast, and they just babysit deals and they let off the gas with their prospecting. And next thing you know, they're right back to the up and down roller coaster ride from hell because they let off the gas. They got their eye off the ball. They stop prospecting, and then they wonder why they're lacking consistency in their income. And they wonder why it's like they're right back to where they started. Well, because they let off the gas, right? They never got into the jet stream where they can actually just kind of let off the gas a little bit and coast, because they didn't build enough momentum. They didn't build up enough referral partners. They didn't build up enough stability that comes from diversification. And then they get caught with their pants down because all of a sudden, they crash and burn because they didn't have enough power to get up to that jet stream. They kind of got off the runway a little bit and then they let off the gas and then they crash land,
Yeah.
So I love the fact that you've been building that momentum.
Yeah, that's the key. I can't do that. Right? I'm in a place in my life now where I'm like, I got to pay off my mortgage. I want to go into retirement knowing this is working. I want to go into retirement with a team so that I can go see my grandkids for a week out of every month. I mean, it's only Arizona. It's only 700 miles away. That's quick on an airplane. I used to drive it. Don't do that anymore. It gets hot down there. But anyway, I can't stop now, and I'm having fun again. And it's not work when you're having fun. It's not. I enjoy it so much, and I'm just so thankful. I am amazed. Now, one other thing I got to tell people is what has helped me increase my income, and I've been approached many times, especially when I was a top producer, about going to the broker world instead of the bank world, where you make 50 bips or 30 bips if they give you the lead, right? And that's pretty much what I was living off of last year because I worked for a great company that was helping me with leads that they were paying for, but I wasn't making much. And now I'm in the broker world, and I make 5 times more money per loan, but I'm confident enough as a broker now to, and you get to kind of say how much you're going to make so you can adjust it a little bit. I can't do that with other people, right? If I need to be competitive on a $2 million loan, I can adjust how much I'm going to make on that loan to help my pricing be competitive. I was so scared to go out here and do that without the base of a company that gives me a processor and does all these things. And people are like, you don't want to do this, you don't want to do that. I finally looked at me, how I do my business now, and I was confident enough to go do that. Confident enough in myself as a mortgage professional that for whatever reason, this was the time that worked for me. And so that's how I've been able to, the other way, I've been able to increase my income. This program hasn't just changed me inside or me the way I talk to a realtor, but given me enough confidence that I know my products, and I feel like I'm on top of the game now. And as a broker, I just have much more freedom. And yes, I have to pay all my own bills. I got to pay my own processor. I have to do all of those things. But it really is. I hope people can get to that place where they're that comfortable, because it's a brand new world for doing mortgages out here. It really is.
Well, I'm sure you taking the leap into winning in the wild as a broker on 100% commission, you what you kill with no safety net, has nothing to do with the momentum you've built, the mastery muscle you've built over the last 12 months with you knowing how to hunt in the wild like a wild Kodiak, not knowing how to attract elite realtors, knowing how to be a growth partner to elite realtors versus being a bottom feeder or being a lone leech. I'm sure it has nothing to do with that. I'm sure it's just pure dumb luck and some delusional optimism, right?
Maybe not. But man,
Confidence comes from competence in a skill that matters most, not skill in terms of technical knowledge on how to structure a loan and find a home for the loan and getting the deal done with a 5-star experience for the client. We expect that. That's a minimum expectation
right.
for both the client and your referral partners. But the skill that really matters, which is marketing yourself, right? Because when you know how
Right.
to market yourself, you can write your own ticket. You can not only move to a the broker channel where you're making 2x, 3x the income per deal with a lot more flexibility in terms of loan programs and pricing and
Yes.
autonomy and independence, but just to have the leverage with wherever you hang your license, where you get the best compensation plan, the best structure in terms of processors and LOAs and loan partners and so on to support you, so you can focus on rainmaking versus paper pushing. But also, obviously the next step is to have your own brokerage. And that's where you get the full pop commission and
Right.
even more upside potential, where you can build an empire. You can build a team. You're not just being the hero. You can make heroes. You're not just achieving your dreams. You can help other people achieve their dreams. And, as soon as you start building a team with you, like it or not, whether you know it or not, they're going to do double what you do wrong and half of what you do right.
Yeah.
So, to be able
Sure.
to have a skill where you can, have a roadmap to enter the promised land and then turn around and show your team how to do likewise. I mean, that is the holy grail to winning in any market, not just a fair weather market. And, really helping people change their life forever in this industry. So I love that you've got the keys to the castle now, and you're just scratching the surface of your potential. You're just getting warmed up, which is really, really exciting to consider. And even just to say that, because we know that to be true. How different does your business feel today, Christine, compared to where you were 12 months ago? Just, give me a perspective in terms of how different it feels emotionally, how different it feels in terms of your confidence, your certainty, not just in terms of now, but about your future. Give us a little lay of the land in terms of like the before and after difference in your emotional state, your confidence, your certainty, all that good stuff.
I have really good reason to get to bed and get rested and get up and start my day now. I would stay up till 2 or 3 in the morning worrying. And when I worry, I just watch TV or something. Then I'm exhausted the next day. And I just dread coming downstairs to my office to get on the computer to do nothing. And maybe having something with my boss saying, what's going on, what are you doing today, and knowing that I'm going to be doing activities that aren't going to lead to anything. And now I cannot wait until the next day. I have an appointment almost every day with a new realtor. I have a discovery meeting, or I have a show and tell meeting, or I have my calls that I get to do. I am dressed and downstairs and ready by 10 a.m. every morning, often way before that, but I'm going to be here. In fact, my son knows 10 to 11, you don't borrow mom. You don't bother mom. And hey, he's 30. He's sleeping it anyway with his dog, but he's okay with that. But I just I don't even know how to describe it, Doran. The fact that I'm even talking about building a bigger team. A year ago, I was ready to go be a greeter at the Big W, you know? And I was going to take, in California, minimum wage is $20 an hour. I was willing to go find a job for that. To here I am, so excited, and my business is building and booming, and I can't even hold it back. I like feel a wave behind me that I don't even know if I could slow down now. And I'm so scared to stop my calls because I don't want that wave to slow down. I can take it, I can handle it. I'm happier, I'm more rested, I'm more confident. I'm spending much more quality time with my boy. We haven't said it out loud. He's disabled. He's going to be with me his whole life. I'm able to put him in a position that someday when I'm not here, his sisters will be able to help take care of him and help him go into his life. That was a big responsibility for me. I have to take it, and I can finally do it. I can't let go of this now. This has got to keep going. I've rebuilt my relationship with my God, and I'm thankful to him. And all the time that I'm not going to do the footprints in the sand thing with you, but the whole time that I thought I was mad at him and denying him, and where have you been, and how did this breakup happen, and I was so angry with him. He's okay with it, because you know what? As much as I love my boy, I believe again he loves me the same way, and knows me, and was watching out for me. And I had to get to that point so that I could just let it all go. And he threw me a line when he threw you, and I took that line and said, okay, I just got told that this is your last chance. You've got to grab a hold, work hard at this, because you don't want to let this go. And here I am a year later, and there's just no way to be more grateful. I have messed up. I have been angry. I was angry at you sometimes, and I'm like, I can't believe you're making me do this exercise and look at this horrible part of myself. I don't want to remember all this stuff. But man, the growth that happened, and you're not just a coach to me. You are you're so open. You're so good at seeing people for what they have in them and where they're at, and you really have a knack for that, and so does your beautiful wife. And we've never met in person, Doran, and your wife has this. You guys are just a wonderful team together, and the way you support each other, I know that helps you in your business, and you're so focused on people. Some of the coaching programs I've been in, there literally are guys that show up in fatigues, right? And I feel like I'm in the movie Jarhead, and they're like, "You're going to do this, you're going to do that," and it's like you're not walking in rhythm, and that's not my kind of coaching. And this really was my kind of coaching. And your entire team, here I am. I knew I wouldn't get through this without a tear, but this is real life, and I've never had growth like this in my life in 1 year period. And to the depths of despair and not knowing where I would go next to where I am today, I can't wait for this ball to keep going. Really, I just can't. And I'm very thankful for the program. And you guys, let him throw you a line if you're considering the program at all. I can tell you, I've tried them all. I've tried them all, and this is one that works if you do the time. If you do the time.
I'm so proud of you, sister.
Oh.
I'm so proud of you. I mean, such joy to see you blossoming and flourishing and growing and expanding into the best version of you. There's nothing better. That's why we do what we do. That's why I've been doing this for the last 2 decades plus. I'm
Yeah.
literally addicted to seeing people like you go from zero to hero, from dud to stud, from lack, limitation, scarcity to abundance to freedom. I mean, it never gets old. And you are certainly no exception. This never gets old. It's so glorious. Tell me about the freedom now that you took your annual income and you made it your quarterly income in Q1 of this year. And then you went ahead in Q2 and took your quarterly income from Q1 and turned it into your monthly income in May. So you're
Yeah.
just like, the crescendo with the fireworks is just escalating. And
It's
talk about a
insane.
hockey stick exponential curve. It's just tremendous. It's so wonderful to see. Tell me about the freedom and just the difference that's made. And have you gone to see your grandkids lately?
I can tell you this, we booked a trip for October to go back to Disneyland, and it's my treat. And I'm going to take them in October
Nice.
because it's all the Halloween type stuff and the Nightmare Before Christmas, and it's gonna be fantastic, and that'll be our first vacation in a long time. And I can't wait to spend more time with them. So we do have goals like that. The freedom of being able to now get my day done and have dinner with my son every night. Every night we eat dinner together. And I'm not stressed, wondering, oh my gosh, the phone's ringing. That's the first phone call I've had in 2 weeks. I got to get it right now. I can relax now. I've been able to relax because I know that the business is there. It's made a huge difference in my health. Um, I'm an insulin-dependent diabetic. I've had a stroke in the past. I've been a diabetic for almost 50 years, and my health, because my stress is better, my health is much better. And still have a ways to go. It's never perfect, but my doctor's like, "Wow, Christine, your numbers are looking so good." So I've been able to physically, emotionally, spiritually, and financially heal myself in 12 months. There's probably other categories, but those are the four I came up with for right now. And I was excited to do this little podcast with you because if there's even one person that can get encouraged through my story, I couldn't have kept going if it hadn't been for people in our Monday and Tuesday calls that were like, Christine, do this part of the program. Christine, go do the limiting beliefs. Christine, keep doing this. And I did what they said, and they encouraged me. And now I have them saying, wow, the difference in you. And I don't even see the difference in me, but they're like, from when you first came into these calls, you're a completely different person. And I'm glad that I had that back. This is the old Christine. This is the one that was successful. And for whatever reason, life knocked me down. And I was just about, I'm not going to say that I was going to quit life. I don't want it to sound like that. But I was definitely desperate, and I didn't know where my next paycheck was going to come from. And I was at the end of my rope, not knowing what to do. And I wasn't going to move in with my daughter. She would have never allowed it. She's got enough with her 2 kids. So anyway, but here I am. And living in California, yes, the most expensive place on the planet, everybody thinks, but it is wonderful. I have a beautiful life, and I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful to be a happy mortgage loan originator again. And Walmart doesn't get me, and neither does PG&E, and neither does Amazon. So I am the single wage earner in my house, and happy to say that it's doable, you guys. It's doable. It's a great program. Thank you, Dorn.
My pleasure. It's sweet joy. You were the dry kindling, ready to show up, coachable and committed. We were just the spark. We were just the spark. And I got God bumps, goosebumps. You just sharing your epic transformation. Just literally got shudders of goosebumps all the way through my body. It was like, man, this is what fires me up to do what I do every day. So if someone's listening to this, Christine, they're like, wow, Christine, good for you. That's amazing. And they're stuck in a rut just like you were 12 months ago. And they're in the exact same spot you were 12 months ago. And they're thinking, is this for real? Is this something worth checking out? What would you tell them?
It is absolutely for real. And please don't jump in and say, I'm going to give it 30 days. because you might have some stuff to get through and it may not be doing this in 30 days. I thought I was going to get in and do one what they call a module a week, and I was going to be booming in 60 days. It didn't happen for me for 6 months, but when I go back and do that 6 months again, absolutely I would go back and do that June 1st to December again, because here I am, and you hang in there and keep doing it, and keep doing that hour of power and be ready for it. Take advantage of if you're going to do it, take advantage of the group meetings for the hour and a half or so that you spend with a team that's also doing it. That's important. It's too easy to hide at home and be in front of your computer and pretend to the right people that you're working hard, but you're really stuck. You're stuck for a reason, and you need something to help you pull out of that. And that's what this program was for me. But just go for it, you guys. I don't know what else to say. Find a way to do it, and don't let finances stop you, because I promise it's going to pay off. I promise
We
it's going
like
to
to say
pay
it
off.
works when you work it.
You got to
It's
work
all
it.
about getting
You got to
comfortable
work
being
it.
uncomfortable. And the paradox, I think that's the word for it. The paradox is that's what makes life mighty comfortable.
Yes.
And so you've been on that path now for a year. I am so excited for you. I mean, with all the epic transformation and the exponential growth in your income and how things have just transformed on so many levels for you, emotionally, financially, relationally, spiritually, physically. I know that you're just getting warmed up, sister. You're just getting warmed up. You haven't seen nothing yet. So that's the part that really fires me up. But couldn't be more proud of you, Christine. You just continue to grow into the best version of yourself. There was one thing you said before I want to correct you on. You said, I'm the old Christine. And I would be as bold as to say, no, you're not the old Christine. You're the better version.
Oh,
You're the
thank you.
best version. You're
Yeah.
the best version of Christine, and you keep getting better. And mark my words, you keep on this trajectory that you're on. You keep, being a little bit better today than you were yesterday. We're going to be having an interview like this another 12 months from now. And you'll be thinking to yourself, wow, I'm not the old version of Christine. I'm still the best version. I'm still stepping into the best version, and the best version just keeps getting better.
All right.
And
Oh,
that's what's
good.
so
I
wonderful.
appreciate that. And I guess what I meant by it was that I'm happy again. I'm happy again doing this. I'm in love with my job again. And now it doesn't feel like a job anymore. It feels like more of a this is my mission statement, to be happy at home and to help other people find that same calm and happiness by becoming homeowners, and helping families find that stability, because it's so important for my son and I. And that's what I want to continue to help people do. And I want more relationships with realtors and other people, and I'm better at relationships now. I'm more accountable, better person.
Well, you are a bright, beautiful light, my dear. And that light keeps shining brighter. God's love keeps pouring in you and through you to the people you serve who have a privilege of working with you, both as a mortgage professional as well as a partner. And you are expanding your influence, expanding your impact by serving, by not asking for business, but by bringing value. And that value is expanding because you keep getting a little better today than yesterday. You keep putting in the reps, you keep putting in the work. You're not sitting on your laurels, and you continue to refine your craft, and you
I still
continue
learn
to,
every single day, every day. I still make plenty of mistakes, and I learn every day.
yeah.
Yep.
And so I
And I
just want to,
still haven't posted a single Instagram video, and look at my business grow. So all
I
those
know, right?
classes I was taking on how to go be a killer online, I'm not saying I won't do it eventually. Eventually I'll hire somebody to help me with that again. But for right now, it was me doing the work, and I'm so thankful for where I'm at.
That should just be sweet solace to most people's soul who don't like having to, post social media videos and having to create content every day, and just the hamster wheel of doing all these things just because other people say you have to do it. No, you don't have to do that. You don't have to post 3 social media posts a day. You don't have to do, buying crappy leads off the internet. You don't have to do open houses uninvited. You don't have to cold call realtors. You don't have to beg, chase, bribe. You don't have to do any of that nonsense. You
You
just
don't.
need the right strategy. You need the right support. And Christine's epic story, true story, is a
Yeah.
perfect case in point. So, Christine, thank you for being with us. It's been such a wonderful, inspiring thing to witness your growth. And like I said before, you're just getting warmed up. You haven't seen nothing yet. So, keep up the great work.
Thank you, Jordan. Very thankful. Okay.
So,
Go get it,
guys,
everybody.
we've been with the one and only Christine Davis, and she just shared with you how she ate extra income in just 12 months. And something tells me we do an interview like this 12 months from now, it'll be like 20x or something insane like that. So, we haven't seen nothing yet. She's just getting warmed up, but if she can do it, you can do it. And if she, in the place she was 12 months ago, making 28K in 2025 in a completely desperate and despondent situation, complete despair, had no way out, and was running on fumes financially. If she can go from that to making what she made in 2025 in literally 2 weeks of May, if she can do that,
Yeah.
there's no doubt you guys can do it if you do the work and if you show up the way she did: coachable, committed, resourceful, and decisive. So if you'd like to learn how that can work for you, you'd like to explore if there's the right alignment, the right fit between our system and your goals and dreams and your situation, go ahead and book a call. Same call that Christine booked 12 months ago, just 12 short months ago, that created an avalanche of awesome in her life. You can do likewise by simply booking a call at mortgagemarketingcoach.com/chat. We'll just lift up the hood on your business. We'll have an honest conversation. We'll shine the light of truth on your situation to see if we can help you. And if we can, we'll show you what that looks like instead of our proven system. And if not, frankly, we'll be the first to advise you to pass, maybe recommend something else or someone else. We're here to be your advocate. We're not here to make a sale. I know Christine can attest to that. We're your advocate, and we're an advocate for the truth. And the truth shall set you free. It might piss you off at first, but it's going to set you free. The truth is really the foundation to transformation. So that's what this call is about. It's a clarity call to shine the light of truth. So if you'd like to have your room illuminated with truth that can set you free, and to see if we have the right alignment to support you to create a breakthrough in your business, book a call at mortgagemarketingcoach.com/chat. Now, Christine, if someone's on the fence, they're like, I don't know, I don't have the money, or I don't know, maybe I'm not ready for this kind of call yet. Maybe I should just,
I would just say be careful what you wish for, because waiting for that more comfortable time, you may be in a whole lot worse shape. And one thing that I didn't say that I want to make sure that I point out: lots of the programs that I've gone to, you've got to listen and take notes and try to remember stuff, and they don't provide you access to the materials to make sure you can really learn it. These guys are masters at. I've got a whole thing that I can go to where if I've listened to that recording over and over, and now I need this forum, or I need that forum, or I need an AI because Doran isn't available because he doesn't need to be 24/7. I have so much that I can go to and refer back to. I have all the materials I need to keep it going. And it's not only certain during times of the day, or only if I'm still paying for this or that. They give you all the stuff you need, and it's all accessible. And you don't have to be a genius on the computer to get it. There's so many people to help you with so many areas. So I say go for it. I don't know how somebody doesn't make it with the program unless they just don't do the program. So you've got you got to do something. It's an hour a day. It's an hour a day. It's a lot more than that, of course, to learn the thing. But you've got time right now if your business isn't where it needs to be, and it's all going to be worth it. And just the personal growth alone, I say, I mean, I don't go for it. I don't. I'll loan you the money.
can you imagine
Anyway,
where you'd be? Can you imagine where you'd be right now, Christine, had you not pulled the trigger?
no, I can't. I can't. I believe I wouldn't have my home. I believe we would be in some apartment somewhere trying to make it, and I would not even be a mortgage loan originator. I believe that. I do.
By God's
So,
grace, there are no
yes.
accidents. There are no
Yeah, no,
accidents.
there are not. Thank you,
And
Doran.
And now you get to be the inspiration and fire in the belly for a lot of other people who are in a very similar situation to you. And you get to be that win in their sails, knowing that there is a way out. There is a way to be a victor in this market instead of being a victim. There is a way to create your own economy in
Yeah.
spite of the economy going down the toilet. You don't have to go with it. And there is a way to actually attract the best quality partners, send you the best quality borrowers, all by referral, and to do it without having to do the sucky cold calling stuff and doing all the,
Yeah.
20,000 TikTok videos and all that other nonsense that's just a waste of time. So thank you for being that inspiration. Because if just one person grabs a hold of this, listens to this, and has their life transformed, we know that this time has been worth our while.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. And guys, if you got inspiration from this, if you got value from this, and you know that you've been illumined with new insight, maybe just some encouragement, and that this podcast is breathing life into your career in some meaningful way, subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. And also, thank you in advance for sharing this episode with friends, colleagues. Sharing is caring. So if you feel it's worthy of a share, please do. Also, if you feel that it's deserving of a 5-star review, please do. It helps us reach other awesome mortgage pros just like you. And as we wrap up, let me remind you, the more we grow, the more our income grows. So don't just go to that next level, grow to that next level. This is Doran Aldana coming at you from the Art of Mortgage Marketing podcast. We've been with the one and only Christine Davis. And again, thank you, Christine, for being with us today. This has been super inspirational.
Thank you, Doran. Appreciate it.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for hanging with us. Peace, y'all. Thanks for being with us.